It's time for the Daily Stand Up Podcast presented by Agile Dad with your host, Lee Henson. Without any further ado, let's get started. A couple of years ago, I had the privilege and pleasure of teaching a young lady by the name of Keis Kostaqi. And Keis was just an amazing student. And we had a conversation about her recording a podcast episode for me. And she got to propose some topics she was passionate about. And we both hit on one that we agreed would be one that was good for you, the Agile Dad Daily Scrum listeners. So, all of you who are listening to the Agile Daily Stand Up, thank you for being here. Without any further ado, let's hand it over to Keis so she can talk to you about Scrumban.
Hello, Agile Daily Stand-Up listeners. My name is Keis Kostaqi, and I'm coming to you from Chicago, Illinois. I'm excited to be part of this podcast and share with you a topic that I'm very passionate about. I met Lee 2 years ago. I was a student in one of his Scrum Master classes, and when he offered to have me present a topic in his podcast, I was thrilled, and I immediately said yes. So today, I want to talk to you about what is Scrumban and what are some of its benefits, especially in the healthcare field. However, before we get started, I would like to share with you who I am and how I got introduced to Agile. I come from a healthcare background and I've worked many years in information services and technology. And as such, I learned about Agile early in my career, and I wanted to get more information about how this new way of working can actually help our end users and teams. How can it make them more productive? As I learned more and more about it, I was fascinated with the concept of continuous improvement. This concept was first introduced in 1986 by Masaki Imai as Kaizen, which in Japanese means continuous improvement. Organizations benefit from it by streamlining workflows, being more predictable, and as a result, they reduce costs and prevent overages. Now, if you go to Google right now, just like I did, if you search Agile, the first framework that will pop up is Scrum. And it's because Scrum has been very successful with teams specifically working in software development. Nowadays, Scrum is used by many different teams outside of software development, like operations, real estate, marketing, and even the clothing and music industry. So basically everything that can be released in versions and continuously improved. Many teams have adopted Scrum and work in iterations to deliver a shippable product. This makes perfect sense for teams in software development as they focus only on items that they pick up for that iteration. This is often hard to accomplish in healthcare and specifically for service teams that support the operation side of healthcare and even clinicians. Just like many other teams, these service teams also work on projects, but they need to be available to address any high emergent issues that come from their end users, specifically because of the nature of those end users. These are clinicians that support patients. So these teams cannot ask them to wait until the sprint is over. So in situations like this, what do? This is where Scrumban comes into play. Scrumban is a combination of Scrum and Kanban. And before we jump into it, let's talk a little bit about what Kanban is. Now, Kanban is a flow system, and its goal is to maximize throughput while minimizing work in progress. It was designed to facilitate quick response to change and has been successful specifically in the manufacturing industry because it helps limit the buildup of excess inventory at any point on the production line. Scrumban merges the rules of Scrum and the flexibility of Kanban. The word itself was first invented by Corey Lattice in 2008. When implemented correctly, this framework helps teams maximize efficiency by benefiting both from the prescriptive nature of Scrum, but also the freedom that Kanban provides. In Scrumban, the team is organized into 3 important roles. So just like in Scrum, you have your product owner, the Scrum Master, and the developers. The team breaks down their work in short iterations and uses their Kanban board to visualize that work. Contrary to Scrum, Scrumban allows for unplannable emergent work to enter the sprint during an event or a ceremony called replenishment. Replenishment is a Kanban event where teams pull work as their capacity becomes available. And Scrumban teams leverage this approach by allowing them to pull work into their sprint as their need arises. So they leverage this flexibility. And with teams in the medical or healthcare field that are implementing the Agile framework, this is extremely beneficial because it allows them to deliver in iterations while also being able to pull work depending on medical emergencies. These teams obviously focus on products that they deliver. However, at the beginning of their sprint, when they pick up work for their iteration, they also leave some capacity available for any unplannable emergent work that might come up. So everyone, this is what Scrumban is. And these are some of the benefits for services teams working in the healthcare and medical field. Thank you so much for listening and have a great day.